Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to To Be Determined. Today we are going to be doing a guide on the Composter, all of its upgrades, the best way to use it, and we're going to be talking about how ridiculously expensive it is and whether or not it's worth it. So if you guys enjoyed today's video or if you learned something, remember to leave a like and sub if you haven't already. We're closing in on 5K subs, so that would really help out, and let's jump straight into it. Alright, so the Composter got added with the garden update, and as you can see, I do have mine upgraded a bit. When it starts, you won't be getting 60 compost per from this, but I have a lot of upgrades on these guys. I can tell you, a lot of these, they are worth it. Now, personally, I haven't spent a single dime on these, just because I've grinded all the copper myself, grinded all the crappies myself, and grinded all of the materials besides crappies and copper myself. Basically, I played it like an Iron Man, and that's honestly kind of the way I look at this. You really should play it like an Iron Man because you really don't have much choice. You can't pay to win this because it requires copper, and copper is soulbound. So why not go ahead and grind up all the other materials as you're grinding your copper up with visitors? Alright, maybe I've gotten a little too far ahead of myself. Let's talk about compost in general first. So the Composter makes compost. You need organic matter over here, which is basically any crop. You can put any crop from wheat to fermento into this meter and it will fill up. When it starts off, I think your organic matter meter is at 40,000. I've upgraded mine so much that it's at 200,000, but it will max out at 40,000 when you begin. And then there's your fuel meter, which will max out at 100,000 when you begin, and you can fill this up with oil barrels, voltas, biofuels, whatever you like. Oil barrels really are the best way to do it though. Or if you're to the point where you're grinding ghosts and stuff already, then that is also a good way to do it because ghosts drop voltas and you can use that. But if you're working on your mining as well as trying to get into farming a little bit, then when you're doing your powder grinding, if you powder grind in the jungle, you'll get a ton of oil barrels. So that will also help towards this, especially if you're on Iron Man. So as far as fuel goes, oil barrels is pretty much the best way. You can go into Bazaar, look up oil barrel. They're pretty cheap, 30,000 a piece, and they give 10,000 fuel per. So basically, I could fill up my entire composter for less than 1,000,000 coins, which is really good because a full composter will last for ages. Basically, the way it works, 1,820 fuel at my level is what it takes to make one compost, but that is because I've upgraded my cost reduction to level 9, so I get 9% cost reduction. So really, it's when you start off, it's going to take 2,000 fuel. And for your crop meter, it's going to take 4,000 organic matter. But what is the best crop to put in here? Well, it's actually seeds. I know it's tempting to just look into your sacks and be like, oh, I have 1,000 enchanted red mushrooms. Let's just throw that in here. Don't do it. If you're on Iron Man, it's acceptable. But if you're not on Iron Man, it's not acceptable. All you got to do is Bazaar these. I could sell all of this for 2.4 million coins, and this would probably barely fill up my composter. And those 2 million coins could buy me so much seed. I could buy 30 boxes of seed with that amount of coin. And if you didn't know, boxes of seeds give 25,600 organic matter. So that would fill up my composter almost 4 times instead of me barely filling it up once with those enchanted red mushrooms. So seeds are the way. Definitely do that. Now, another thing you'll notice when you start getting into the upgrades on these, they'll start off pretty cheap. The copper cost isn't too bad when it begins, but as you go higher, the cost gets higher. So you can see I'm on fuel cap level 8. To upgrade it to level 9, it's going to cost me 600 copper. But since I already have multi-drop at level 10, to upgrade it to 11, it's going to cost 800 copper. So if you're curious, here's the table for each different material. Of course, the item cost here is going to be a little bit different every time, depending on which one you're going for. Because composter speed upgrades with enchanted hay bales and tightly tied hay bales, as well as enchanted golden carrots. And when it starts, it won't cost crappies, but as you go higher, it costs crappies. It'll start costing squash, and then it'll start costing fermentos, and eventually condensed fermentos. But that's if you're really going for max SkyBlock XP. You don't need to max it out that much. Multi-drop, it's baked potatoes and pumpkin. Fuel cap is sugarcane and melon. Organic matter cap is cacti and cookies. And cost reduction is mushrooms and netherwort. So you can see it starts off pretty cheap, half a stack of enchanted brown mushrooms. But when you get to the top level, it's 1,216 enchanted brown mushroom block plus 14 condensed fermentos. Just for some context, the best farming armor in the game, fermento gear, you only need 8 condensed fermentos. To max out a single one of these composter upgrades, just the last level of it costs almost 2 fermento gears worth of fermentos. So it's kind of ridiculous. But again, you don't have to max it out that much. Really, you don't have to max it out at all if you don't want to. But I do recommend doing it just because it's really good for maxing out your plots. You can always buy it on Bazaar, of course. there's compost bundles and compost here, but once you get to the max level, it's going to start costing 8 compost bundles for these corner pieces. So if you want all the corner pieces, that's 32 of these, which is 200 million coins. So if you don't want to pay that, you can always just upgrade this and throw some seeds in there, some oil barrels on this side. It's still going to be expensive, but it's not going to be nearly as expensive. Plus, once you have maxed out all your garden plots here, you can just sell the compost. You don't even have to farm the seeds if you don't want to. Just buy them off the bazaar, throw in some oil barrels, and just wait until your compost is done, and you'll be making millions. At max composter speed, it's at 500%. My composter speed is only at 180%, and it makes a compost every 3.5 minutes. Just to prove it, just threw my organic matter in there. There it is, time left 3.5 minutes. It's actually like 3 minutes and like 35 seconds, I think, but still, that's crazy. And I'm not even at level 10 yet. Imagine getting this thing to level 25, which is the max level. In the late game, this thing just prints money. Even early, it prints money. Like I said, I can just farm for probably 15-20 minutes to fill up this organic matter myself if I wanted to, just to get all the seeds for it. And that's not even with me selling the wheat. I keep the wheat for visitors, and I just throw the seeds in here. If I sold the wheat and used that money to buy more seeds, I could fill this up in probably like 5 minutes. And that's enough for the next 4 hours or so. And when I come back to claim it, there will be about 60 compost. It changes depending on your multi-drop level. So there's a 30% chance that whenever a compost is produced, I get an extra one. So depending on how much that procs, I could get like a lot more compost. I think that's actually gotten me up to 72 a few times, but that's 2.5 million coins that I spent 5 minutes to make. Granted, I can only do it every 4 hours, but still, that's a lot of money. And again, I have poured quite a bit of copper into this. I've probably poured well over 10,000 into all this. I could do the math, but I'm lazy. But the copper cost is very, very high. So that is the main downside of upgrading the composter, is the copper, because you have to choose between either doing the copper for that or for putting it on your crop upgrades. If you use it for anything else, it is not good. All of the other items in here you can buy off of the auction house. Builder's ruler, auction house. Garden scythe, auction house. Biofuel, auction house. Well, that's actually with coins, but still, all of these items you can buy on the auction house instead of wasting your copper. Save your copper for this or for your crop upgrade. Now, for those min-maxers like myself, how much is it going to cost to max out every single one of these? Well, let me tell you, it ain't cheap. Just to get a single one of these up to level 20, which isn't even the max is 25, it costs 19,000 copper. And just for some perspective, this is a typical visitor that you get. You talk to him, he gives 16 copper. I need well over 1,000 of these to be able to afford level 20 on one upgrade on the composter, and 20 is not even max. To get one of these upgrades to 25, it costs 35,650 copper for one of them. To get all of them to the max, it's 178,250 copper. And if you're doing this for skyblock levels, then you also get skyblock XP from each one of these crop upgrades as well. And to max out all the crop upgrades, I can tell you it's at least 160,000. I'm sure it's a little more than that. It might be up to 175,000. So to max both of these, composter plus crop upgrades, it's about 350,000 copper, which will take ages to generate. But at the end of the day, you'll be making millions from this, guys. So sort of worth it, maybe? Let me know what you guys think about the ridiculous cost of this thing down in the comments below. Personally, I really enjoy this upgrade. I'm not looking forward to all the copper I'm gonna have to grind for it, but I am looking forward to the millions I'm gonna make from it, so at least it makes money. Again, thank you guys for watching. At the time of this video going out, we are doing a 50 million coin giveaway, and that's only split between 2 winners. There's another 20 million coin giveaway in there as well, and that is in my Discord, which is in the description, so be sure to join that. There is a reaction in the announcements channel that you'll have to do to be able to enter, and before you can do that, you have to get the member role in self-assign. So you'll join the Discord, go to self-assign, react to get the member role, and then you can react to the giveaway in the announcements. It'll be pinned there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope to see you in the Discord, and I'll catch you in the next one. God bless.